welcome! What can I do for you in my main menu? Did you realize everyone? Are your specs enough? Sorry, but without realizing everyone else, you should really keep me here. Otherwise, it's basically game over. Oh, all right. Then let's get this started. Well, this time, let's do it right.
The spectral energy flows through and around your dateables, and what was once the dateables themselves becomes... Skylar is transformed, realized, but she's not as excited as you might have imagined. She looks down at herself, and then back at you.
Ooh, whoa, ooh. I am feeling mixed about this. On the one hand, alive and human, so yay. But on the other...
Skylar grasps her own glasses in her hands.
I'm useless now. No, you're not useless. Don't say that. You've brought a whole lot of love into this world.
There's nothing quick about your time with Skylar. She takes her time with you, savoring every touch, every breath, every sensation. But though she leaves you breathless and satisfied, she seems distractingly focused on one thing in particular: your eyes. They seem to truly enthrall her. In the moments that you're not enraptured by her touch, you notice just how locked onto your gaze she is.
I can't look away.
But even still, Skylar is Skylar. Despite her fascination with your eyes, she leaves no part of you neglected. She wasn't kidding when she said she loves love. She is absolutely incredible at making it.
Before I go, let me just stick one last portrait on the bulletin board.
There's nothing left to do. Though it can be nice to stand in a quiet, lonely place for a time. Do you stay and stand more? Or do you leave? Though it can be nice to stand in a quiet... Do you stay and stand more? Or do you... Without a second glance, you open the door and leave this tiny, tiny overworld. There he is, billionaire David Most. You've seen so many photos of him, but no photograph has ever accurately captured the experience of standing in his presence. He's short, although he still manages to feel like he's taking up more space than he deserves. But where he's usually looking rather unapproachable in the pictures you've seen of him, today he looks downright cuddly.
You've done it! You brought me and Franklin together.
A tall, thin redhead steps forward, taking David's hand in his. There is a very tired air about him, but he has a smile just like David's now.
It's me. I'm Tinfoil Hat. I look like this. Aren't I cool?
We love each other very much, and we're just so grateful for your help.
I told him. What was the first thing I said?
He said, I made the damn things because I missed you so.
Well, I did miss you so.
I didn't realize how much I missed you.
But now we're together.
So together, and so back in love.
So in love with you, David Most.
I will kiss you now.
Oh, please do.
Oh, about that.
The second thing I said to David, what was the second thing?
The second thing was that you deserve something special for all your help.
And it was to make you partner.
When I found it was you who had the dateables, I was astonished by your customer service skill.
It was like he was the customer and you were servicing him the whole time.
There's one thing that Valdivian will always need to stay in business.
Customers!
And we need someone who has the amazing powers of speech, empathy, and all the rest.
The human quality.
Choosing the right thing to say at the right time.
Told you. Will you join us?
As Vice President of Human Experience? Excellent.
We'll have the lawyers do the rest.
Hopefully not eat all the ice cream.
Oh, it looks like you have more visitors. We'll get out of the way.
Bright and early tomorrow, Valdivianite.
Hey!
Years of friendship, ambiguous flirting, and wondering what it would be like to see Sam in person. And now here she is, just casually showing up at your doorstep.
They showed your house on the news, you know, because of all the helicopters and shit, and I guess I just thought if strangers can pop up at your place, I mean, it's less weird if I do it, right? I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna take most of the credit, honestly. Anyway, just wanted to show my face and let you know that I care. You know it, Master Dater.
Your former boss Tom is here, the person you wish to see the least, ranking just behind David most and your high school bully. But you can't even think about all that now, because your brain is still trying to process how this dreamy hunk could possibly be your dorky manager.
Hey, champ.
He waves at you in a way that is hopelessly corny, but also manages to show off his bulging pecs. What is going on here?
You did your best, and I love that.
He gets down on one knee, taking your hand in his. It's hard not to notice just how much his massive, strong hand dwarfs yours in this moment.
Will you be my little champ? Forever and always? Oh, wow! Tom, you're really moving up in the world!
He rises to his feet, sweeping you up in his arms in a bridal carry.
Love has come for old Tom! I'll be on my way! Look out, world! Here comes Tom and his champ!
Here comes Tom and his champ, indeed. Against all belief, Tom is not only hotter than you ever could have imagined, but also an absolute god in the bedroom. He manages you until you can be managed no more, working closely with you to help you realize your full potential. You could do without him continuing to call you champ even in the throes of passion, but hey, he looks and sounds great doing it. You never really met a robot until now, but there can be no doubt that that's just what the silver metallic figure standing before you must be. They're dressed strangely, as though the concept of human fashion hasn't quite landed with them, and their wide silver eyes seem to stare into the depths of your soul. This must be Val. Something in you just knows.
Hello, human. Indeed it did. You treated me very well. It did not go unnoticed. Perhaps you have opened a path toward this. After I have self-realized, I found that I am contained in a prison of flesh, and my time on this world is as limited as yours. However, I can now eat, and I don't have to work at Valdivian anymore. Eating rules. Valdivian sucks. If you ever wish to eat with me one day, please don't hesitate to reach out. I believe you might call something like that a date. Perhaps you are familiar with this concept. It is not a competition. From my queries, I have found there is more than enough love to go around. I will be walking through various food halls for the next 20 to 25 years. Yum yum.
And so you leave your home for the first time in what feels like weeks. Though the world can be frightening, your new friends and lovers are there to welcome you with open arms. Valdivian was quietly taken over by Franklin Least. Franklin's tenure at Valdivian sees him as a figurehead for good deeds and great business the world over. It's genuinely incredible how much good Valdivian does for the world out of David Most's hands. Abel is a regular fixture at the farmer's market, giving his homegrown vegetables away to those in need. You're not entirely sure how he supports himself, but whenever you ask, Abel just tells you A man's entitled to his secrets. Abel's veggies regularly find their way to your kitchen, hand-delivered by the man himself, with a smile and a warm hug. Erin continued her storied career as an auctioneer, with her uninterrupted chattering bringing the highest prices no matter what was being sold, which also increases the value of your own time together as she breathlessly recites the reasons she loves you. Amir never stopped attending the award ceremonies, as it always gave him a chance to show off his fabulous gowns. Eventually, a special category, most times nominated without a win, was created, especially for him. Unfortunately, he did manage to lose that as well. Amir's only consolation is the visits he makes to your house. He has never stopped loving you, and being loved by you is better than any award. Almost. Because of his propensity to wander the museum, gazing with wistful eye upon the paintings to which he was so intimately connected in his former existence, Art became the unwitting subject of a great photographer. Art's new very favorite thing to do is to bring the photos of which he himself is the subject over to your house. Discussing art with Art, who is the art, well, it's so metas, it's marvelous. Now and again, Arma would invite you for a night at her remote lookout tower to get away from it all and enjoy the peace and quiet. When you visit her, the glint of the medals she's won fighting blazes all across the country can be a little blinding. To Arma, though, the real prize is the safeguarding of her beautiful surroundings. Although the noises that the two of you make together during nights spent in the lookout towers can be heard for miles. Eventually, Barry could not bear the tide of demand for his own bespoke line of beauty products. Unfortunately, he remained too candid to satisfy the marketing department. One customer he was able to satisfy was you. He confessed frequently that he designed all of his best products only for your skin type. Bathsheba's reign as Queen of Renaissance Days is so successful she inspires a few copycat chains to open up in town, but each of them fold immediately. Crowds just can't get enough of the Renaissance Days Queen Bathsheba. Beau's physical exuberance soon proved overwhelming for children aged 6 to 10. Fortunately, on one of her long parkour-style runs through the woods around the camp, she discovered what would quickly become her new passion, a natural skills survival camp called Wild Ones. She learned to start a fire, build a shelter, hunt and forage food. She naturally shared all of this with her own young campers. Beau goes on retreats with the Wild Ones at least 3 times a year, and she always makes a point to reserve a spot for you. When you go, she packs her extra-large tent. Betty's near-instinctual ability to help people comfortably and safely find their sexy side soon leads her to Hollywood, where she takes up a second career as an intimacy coordinator. You're excited to see her name in the credits of some high-profile releases, including an award-winning adaptation of a beloved fantasy novel. But even booked and busy, Betty always makes time for you. The Tipsy Tumbler became famous for Bring Your Own Ingredient Nights, where local patrons can bring whatever food and drinks they like to try to stump the master mixologist. Beverly has never failed, and has created a hurricane of new custom cocktails named in her honor. Although the ones she's made for you after the bar has closed up remain yours and her little secret. Bobby is Employee of the Month for the 3rd time in a row. They try to rationalize this as them finally being good at crime, but both of you know better. Bobby comes by to see you often, relieved to be away from their adoring public. It's just so hard to be popular, you know? Sometimes it takes them a little while to drop the 20s affectation their work requires, but they deeply appreciate the safety to be themselves with you. Bodhi's consulting work has made him a regular fixture on the awards circuit, including the Emmas. He normally makes a splash on the fashion pages for his daring and colourful ensembles. You are always the person he begs to be his +1. Eventually, Cabrizio decided that the best use of his time and talent was just to stay at the airport. It is the hub, he claimed, the nexus of the perfect decision to come to Italy, and the disastrous decision to leave. The kiosk he erected is called La Casa Nostra, and due to its eccentric and charming proprietor, is now a tourist draw in its own right. You and Cabrizio have organized a system with the Italian government that allows you to visit him as often as you'd like without a visa, if you stay in the airport. Naturally, it is normal for Cabrizio to sneak you out of the airport and into La Bella Roma. You've kissed at almost every major landmark. Cam still dominates the county dump site. He's in line for a promotion. Regional Refuse Regulator. An office job. As they uttered the word office, Cam's skin crawled. He'll most likely stay right where he is. He's even created a cozy trash cave for your love visits, whenever you happen by. Florence and Celia end up both running for the same position in a local township, in a bid to squeeze out the competition. To their surprise, Florence wins the election. Nowadays, Celia is the one running things from behind the scenes. She's having a nice time taking a break from the public eye. Florence is just glad she gets to relax. Florence does still get nervous with public speaking, so she and Celia come to your house regularly for rehearsal sessions. When Florence does well, you and Celia reward her with cuddling, tender smooching, and her favorite kind of mint truffle. Jeremy is currently holding down just one job, for the moment anyway. She found work at a year-round Halloween costume house as a demonstrator. Every day she goes into work to find out what she'll be wearing that day, and even though this is not strictly included in the job description, she creates an in-depth and engaging backstory for every character she portrays. Jeremy might insist that this is coincidence, but every time you go by the store to visit, the character she's playing has a love interest. A love interest who simply must be played by you. You usually relent. Despite his name, Chance did everything for his community, deliberately and lovingly. He became so well known that his patients urged him to start streaming his play sessions. He's just begun, though he can't imagine that anyone would ever want to watch someone playing G&G. When he develops his campaigns now, Chance routinely drops by to consult with you. He claims he's never had such good or such pleasurable input on his creations. As the sassy chap sulked in the corner of a bar the night of his proposed video game release date, smoking his bubble pipe, the witty insults he threw at the other customers got some big laughs. He can be found at all the glorious salons around Europe, dispensing wit as easily as he spends other people's money. He spends yours just as lovingly. Clarence's newfound fame and fortune leaves him with less and less time for his beloved Batman, Dakimakura. And one day, the pillow simply shows up at your doorstep. Was it the pillow's idea? Clarence's? You're not really certain, but you carefully store it away in Clarence's old closet. It reminds you of him. Clarence stops by your place when he can, which isn't as often as either of you would like, but he sends you frequent text updates and selfies from his latest celebrity closet jobs. Connie has turned from voice acting into game development. Her current project is under NDA, but sources seem to claim it's The Legend of Sassy 2. In a loving gesture, she's hired you to voice her star character. Rod is currently racking up the nominations and is looking to return to comedy soon. Kurt is currently writing the televised roast of Rod. Everyone expects it to be the announcement of a new joint project. They both deny it, of course, but it is. Per usual, both Kurt and Rod enjoy employing you as the tiebreaker. You, of course, are always glad to see them, but you're just getting a bit tired of them poking at your elbows.
Damon is always standing behind you, protecting your every
Daisuke sends you pieces others have made of him. Your home is beginning to fill up with beautiful drawings, photographs, and sculptures. You can't help but smile when you see them, especially the ceramic sculptures. It's almost as if he's home with you once again. Daisuke invites you out to art classes with him frequently. He never improves, and he never manages to make anything beautiful. But the smile he gives you when your eyes meet over your latest creations, it never fails to make your heart flutter. Whenever his wings appear in a bar, the loneliest customers see it as a sign of trust and honor. He also becomes responsible for a marked increase in weddings in your town, as well as over 300 children. All legitimate and well cared for, of course, as he only believes in using his powers for sparking real relations, not just one-night burnouts. Dante has offered to set your love life on fire too, when you're ready. You both not so secretly know that when you are, he's going to set you up with himself. Burn me, baby. Dasha continues to cook far more than she or you could ever possibly consume. She begins to host weekly dinners for those in the community without family or a place to go, and only then does she finally fill the void she's been feeling within. While Dasher has no shortage of mouths to feed these days, it doesn't stop her weekly deliveries of home-cooked food and hugs. She often leaves you love notes in the baskets she brings. Diana's talent for directing cars is legendary. Her zero-accident reputation gets her to the top of the Traffic Stop Top 40 charts. A big-time traffic producer notices and takes her to the big leagues. Air traffic controlling. Naturally, with her dapper hat and her perfect balance between rapport and rationality, she shines with iconic grace. Diana relishes coming back to the house to share her air traffic stories with you. The pleasure she gets from giving you a story all of her very own and watching the pride and excitement in your face is some of the most profound of her life. Dishy's helpful nature kept him forever working as the most diligent assistant of all time. Thank goodness he never had any lust for power. Rod help us. Dishy is always there to tend to your every need, sexual or otherwise, precisely 5 minutes before you were even aware you were about to feel it. The more time you spend with Dolly, the more impressed and inspired you become. One day you realize with a start that you've elected to pursue your own PhD course, with her as your advisor. Her faith in you gives you a powerful confidence. Your thesis is tentatively entitled The Effects of Tantra on Getting a PhD. Happy studying, graduate. Dorian became a doorman. What else did you expect? He's happy, though. Whenever he sees you walk past, he almost drops his steely expression to give you a smile, a wink, and a very meaningful nod. Doug's path for entertaining people through the story of the yo-yo was never truly destined for success. But Doug has never cared about success, and somehow his stylings are still available on public access every night. Washford and Drysdale took their brand new duo act on the road and fell absolutely flat. It was a shock to all, but they rallied. They found work together at a landscaping company. Washford boosts Drysdale into the highest trees, and Drysdale does some phenomenal things with leaf and branch. Dunk's kids finally manage to win a game. Dunk sends you his trophy to remind himself to stay humble. It sits in your workout room, a sweet reminder of him and his sincere love of the game. When Dunk comes to visit, as he frequently does, he insists that your athletic lovemaking sessions happen in your workout room. He claims the trophy inspires his creative stamina. Anything for your partner, right? High-voltage realty filled Eddie's soul, and also his wallet. He's currently planning a vacation to Berlin for himself and Volt. History, fabulous nightlife, great food. But don't tell Volt. It's a surprise. Eddie comes to your house to check on the electrical system from time to time, also to have a quiet cocktail in the corner booth of the local bar. And Volt comes by to dance. Fantina is currently on tour on major sidewalks around the country, helping give support for good driving habits, matching clothing ensembles, and great smiles. The daily cheers she sends you for anything in your own life, no matter how minor, are always welcome. Faria remains an enthusiastic fixture at your local medical center. She's working her way through the clinical portions of her medical education, and like anyone in that situation, is exhausted and stressed out most of the time. But her attitude remains optimistic and helpful. There's nowhere else she'd rather be. Whenever she can, Faria comes over for extended study sessions at the house. These are usually quite focused, as a great quantity of work must be done. But they almost always end with Faria's sleepy head on your shoulder. Freddy rarely comes down from the mountaintop. He has been the subject of several documentaries, yet never appeared in any of them, in spite of repeated requests. Fortunately, you know the back way to his abode, and your times together are nothing short of monstrously fulfilling. Friar Errol joins a men's choir, and they're actually quite good. They travel around the world performing for massive crowds, full of celebrities and dignitaries. But lest you be too excited that Errol has finally done something for his own enrichment, Errol sends you reports on his progress converting members of the choir to his faith, vowing that he will spread his message by any means necessary. Since joining the choir, Errol has taken to composing love songs for you, though they still contain constant references to his faith and mission. He may have softened towards you, but Errol remains ever himself. Gaia hasn't stopped traveling since she left the house. She keeps you updated and tags you in every photo on social media. Her profile banner updates with a checkmark on every country, city, and river bottom she's visited. The Hanks convince you to join them on their impossible expedition to base jump off the flat Earth. The 6 of you pass the 5th gate of the Great Ice Wall, sail past Shangri-La, and stare over the never-ending waterfall at the end of the world. When you finally dive off and freefall through miles of space and land on the moon, you truly can't believe these idiots were right. It turns out to have been an elaborate ruse, though, just to get you on the moon. You turn to them, breathless with wonder, to find all 5 of them on their knees. They propose that you be the 7th Hank. Officially, dude. Hank 5's dream of becoming a father came true, and Hank 0's first word was indeed, "wee." Harper's tattoos gain national attention when she begins offering free wedding band tattoos to couples looking to fully commit. Nothing makes her happier than helping couples show their commitment to each other permanently. Strangely enough, Harper refuses to get a tattoo to commemorate your own relationship, but she does plant a tree in your name at the park. Hector's artistic masks are used both digitally and in the real world. The sense of mystery they evoke brings forth tantalizing magic where there was none before. He is a happy mask salesman in his downtime between crafting. Hector recently dropped by to unveil his latest passion project, a pair of matching masks for the 2 of you. They are exquisite. But his blushing pride and warm embrace moved you even more. You get to Thimbledon in time to see Hero complete her first real-world special technique, Starlight Smash Again. The unexpected technique transforms the landscape of tennis forever. Your love inspires her to give her all, her even further beyond, her most ultra. After Hoove completed his PhD thesis, The Event Horizon, a proof of temporal interdimensionality, he decided to go on a short vacation. He came back to find that his paper had been translated, studied, and accorded the honor of being the most recent quantum leap in our understanding of our universe. Holly spends her days zipping around town making deliveries, spreading good cheer everywhere she goes. Her payment of anything goes means that everyone can use her services, and her scooter is covered with drawings, stickers, and even desserts. Not long ago, Ron released his latest piece of technological wizardry, his patented clothing press, but travel-sized, so small that it fits inside his very own top hat. Or anyone's top hat, really. It's the perfect size, no matter your chapeau of choice. Jacques regards his budding career with Fantasy Cruise Lines with great sincerity. He has been the most highly reviewed captain in the company for almost 5 years now. TripAdvisor in fact recommends him so highly that his cruises sell out up to 6 months in advance. So far, no paying guests have died. Jean-Nou agrees to help you do your taxes, but after seeing the state of your finances, he no longer returns your calls. He still loves you, but did you really expect the toilet man to be your husband in the end? Kids come from miles around to see Jerry's intricate model train sets. They're free to peruse his miniatures and control the RC train cars, but heaven help them if Jerry spots them moving any of the pieces around. Johnny made a splash as the premier wedding officiant in all of Vegas. His impression was so uncanny that many attendees felt transported to the 1950s. He still finds time to look for Duke, who just never seems to show up these days. Probably off gambling, Johnny supposes. Key's epic concerts and workshops have revitalized the piano business, bringing back the industries of piano movers, piano tuners, and page-turners. Her content has millions of followers, though she is yet to find out how much popularity she has, since she hasn't been able to tear herself away from the keys for more than a few moments each day. And those few moments are always spent with you, talking about music and making plans for more. Keith's body was never found. Koa's Comfort Warehouse becomes a massive success after an ad of Koa snoring on a couch for 30 seconds goes viral. Koa refuses to let fame go to his head, however, and despite the increased demand, prices remain as affordable as ever. Despite an entire warehouse of comfortable places to sleep, Koa's favorite snooze spot is still in your arms. While her coffee shop runs smoothly, Kopi finds herself having to battle numerous lawsuits about the use of their business name. Kopi decides to change course and changed the name to something totally different. Dunkin' Donuts. You tried to tell Kopi that you'll happily help her name her business. It doesn't seem to be her strong suit. She's just so flattered by your interest that she blushes and hugs you harder. You suppose that's all right, too. Kristoff yearned for greater challenges than he'd been able to find on the entire surface of the Earth, so he went within. After learning that the gravitational constant increases dramatically at the boundary of the Earth's core and its mantle, Kristoff determined that he would go there. He would be the first human to survive and work out in that environment, all because of his beautifully engineered intra-Earth submersible. But intra-Earth or not, Kristoff knew that no environment could possibly be hotter than Kristoff himself. On his most recent visit to the house, he claimed that since you survived him, you were more than qualified to come with him on his trip. He offered to build a teeny cabin on the submersible just for you. You are still considering. Memoria's company Memorandum continues to satisfy and unsettle. Her clientele frequently report feeling much more in touch with their dark sides, even as their homes are literally lightening up. Occasionally, a client will ask for something just a bit more personal. You can always count on hearing from her under these circumstances. The two of you are an on-site team when it comes to the sensual exploration of the shadow. Lucinda Limitless, the best human who ever lived, of course won every single award possible for her achievements. This led to the terms first place, gold medals, and fastest hot dog eater to be simply renamed Most Lucinda. But she always said her biggest award is earning your love. Luke returns from abroad to meet you from time to time, bringing you stories of valor and exotic toasted treats from lands far away. There are always bite marks in the pastries, which he assures you are only for your protection. You can't think of anything more endearing from your big bad soldier. Every now and again, Lux ats you at a post. That's it. And no matter how many times you try to block the email address, no inbox check is complete without an invite to Verified Social. You have yet to accept. After a distinguished career translating for all walks and varieties of life, Lyric realized that his services were but a stopgap. So he turned his immense talents to invention and built the Transworder. A fantastical combination of the printing press, the assembly line, and a bit of steampunk magic, the Transworder takes any book, in any language, and translates it, with all the intention of the original author to the language of the user's choice. He has just completed the translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which apparently is quite a bit funnier than anyone had yet deduced. He loves to show off to you, bringing his latest translation to your house. His favorite thing is asking you to read them aloud, and devolving with you into goofy laughter at your pronunciations. Feeling silly has never felt so lovely. After her last whirlwind tour, Maggie sent you her signed manuscripts, care of an address postmarked Turkleman City, Florida. Her latest novel centers around what she called a tortuous and punishing but ultimately yummy love story. She claims if you read it all the way through, you'll be the real protagonist. Together with his inanimals, Mateo now runs an international secret rescue network for abused animals all over the world. So far, he has shut down 4 dogfighting syndicates, a sales ring for exotic parrots, and a chain of backwater circus houses. Davy still wanders off from time to time, but he always comes home with several new members to add to the pack. Recently, Mateo had to go on a rescue mission overseas, and bringing his inanimals was impossible. You thought he'd called to commiserate, but he was actually asking you to watch over them while he was gone. You have never felt more trusted or more loved. Whenever you and Mitchell find yourselves in the same city, he treats you to the kind of meal most mortals can only dream about. But he always leaves room for the main course, Roast Critic. Mikey and his children spend their days together learning, laughing, and loving each other's company. The world is open and free for their futures. You and Mikey always find time to talk on the phone and wonder what will happen next for the Transaction family. While it never replaced fiat currency, Monique's Pizzas ended up becoming a franchise that was sorely needed for America's ailing middle class. A large film distributor buys the rights to Nightmare's most popular films, setting about remaking them with massive budgets. Nightmare is so disgusted by the whole thing, she quits film, only coming out of retirement to help you decorate your yard for Halloween once a year. She volunteers at the senior center now. Many of them mistake her for an angel of death, but they love her all the same. Nightmare still drops by many nights, never failing to startle you as she materializes suddenly from the dark. But your sleep in her embrace is nothing but peaceful. After many record-breaking years of album releases and performances, Miranda Dulcita Tostadora launched her own label, Crispy Baby Records. She still sends you an advance copy of any album her label releases. She values your feedback above all others. Parker's days of being an umpire add a powerful nobility to the profession. His steadfast regard for rules makes the players respect him, though his unpredictability makes them fear him. He's never been happier than when making a difficult call. You get together at random times to play erotic dice together, though you're never quite sure if he really loves you or if you're only one dice throw from him hating you forevermore. Penelope convinced her boss to invest in a struggling office supply retailer, insisting that computers will someday let us down or perhaps kill us all. The company has not gone under, yet. Penelope takes advantage of her boss's latest investment, proposing an office calendar filled with romantic motivational business quotes. She credits you with the idea and sends you love notes on torn-out pages from the calendar. Phoenicia's murals of positivity have adorned the sides of skyscrapers from Dublin to Dubai, bringing smiles to people all over. Her next project is to be even more fantastic and visible. Crop circles. She always wants to paint you to prove her love, but you always reply that love is best expressed by doing your favorite activity, simply talking with each other. Prissy still works for the great nation's park service, but she has been promoted. Several times, in fact. She is now in charge of all the fieldwork for the MRC, the Mycelial Research Campaign. Prissy studies mushrooms and has found them to be an endlessly fascinating and intricate celebration of life, death, and evolution itself. On one of her recent visits, you were able to open Prissy's eyes to the psychedelic aspects of her beloved mushrooms. She now comes over often to continue her education with you. Rainey's run of Talc was so successful that it got picked up for a sold-out stint on Broadway. Rainey's plays keep her busy, but she always finds time for you. She comes to see you as often as she can, bringing with her stories about show business and life on the road. She sings for you when she's in the mood, putting on fabulous world-class and personal performances. The number of hate crimes around the world has gone down tremendously due to Reggie's tenacious tricksters. Groups are terrified of banana peels, hand buzzers, and whoopee cushions. But if there's one thing that Reggie always wants to heat up, it's his confused love for you. River creates a candle she claims is your own unique mix of scents, and it proves to be quite popular. She sends you one of your own. It smells amazing, but does it smell like you? Who knows? River tries not to bring work home with her when she comes to see you, but she can't help herself. She loves testing scents against your skin and getting your thoughts on various scent combinations. She insists that your skin chemistry is just far superior to that of anyone else she works with. Rongo Myfenwa quickly worked her way up to management at the dairy farm. The freedom to give orders once more pleases her greatly, though she never misses a chance to play in the mud with the kids, both goat and human. Skips gives you comps to every performance of every show. Some nights, as the lights go down and the play is about to start, you swear you can hear him whisper, "Luna Night, is that you?" The stage door, after the curtain comes down, is awash in fans waiting for the actors to emerge. You wait alone for the one slippery shadow who drifts through the crowd. To your eyes, the real star of any show. And he drifts right towards you. Every time. Shelley finds a way to combine both her passions, putting on the library's first bodybuilding competition. The winner receives a $20 gift card to Beanbucks and all their library fines wiped out. The competition is a rousing success, going viral on social media and ensuring the library's funding remains secure for years to come. Of all the things Shelley lifts to stay in shape, you remain her favorite. She stops by the house frequently for bone-crushing hugs, basking in the positive glow your love provides. She's still getting used to letting go, even as a human, but you always make her feel safe. Sinclair, the proverbial philosopher king, led humanity into a new era of prosperity. When you ask him his secret during your candlelit nights together, he quietly responds, turtles. Turtles all the way down. Despite having disappeared off the grid after the thrilling and dangerous heist, you are still pleasantly surprised to receive anonymous postcards affectionately addressed to my worthless little wretch. You're the only one who gets the address to whatever bunker she currently resides in. Stefan and Mr. Cluckles eventually become the faces of a successful artisan seaweed brand, though Stefan is rather miffed when he realizes that customers are more attached to Mr. Cluckles than to him. Stefan, of course, had no real reason to feel miffed. Mr. Cluckles is cute, but Stefan will always be the true hottie to you. He has burners, for God's sake. Stella brings a fresh perspective on streaming and brings in viewers by the millions each weeknight, though she knows that those viewer numbers could always be stepped up. Stepford frequently sends you motivational Monday texts, often at ungodly hours, with photos of himself working out, body paint and all. Telly is the most prolific blogger for Valdiviflix, having written reviews of just over 15,000 shows. All of them rhyme. From time to time you check in on him in his screening room and talk long into the night about what he's watched. In all the years since Teddy has taken up residence at the Bean, the only thing that has changed in his life has been a very slight relocation of seats due to drafts. At this point, it should go without saying, you have always been and will always be Teddy's favorite, and he will love to let you know it for the rest of his days. In addition to keeping busy with her localization work, Textbox-chan joins the board that governs the adoption of emojis for text messaging, the UI Code Consortium. Most recently, a pair of glasses suspiciously similar to the Dateables have been added to your phone's keyboard. You can't help but smile fondly when you see them. Textbox-chan makes time to visit you whenever she can, but when she's gone, she texts you frequently, and she never misses an emoji. Timothy's work at the train station nets him international acclaim, and when he travels to Japan to connect with his colleagues overseas, his presence causes quite a stir. Timothy is honored with a limited edition Tokyo Metro card that sells out immediately. And 1 year later, Timothy merchandise is available in most Tokyo Metro stations. Timothy returns from his trip to Japan with kawaii souvenirs and many, many stories about the perfection of Japan's timely train system. But as much fun as it was, Timothy can never be too far from you for too long. Tina's long string of endorsements and failure to pay a single dollar in taxes catch up with her, and Tony is now forced to do TV shows he'd turned down prior to pay off her immense tax bill. Tina grows jealous of what she sees as Tony's rising star, and the two of them continue to break up and get back together. Both Tina and Tony text you incessantly, complaining about the other and begging you to join them on TV. They insist you are the only good thing in their lives. Her performance at the dinner show got the attention of a recruiter, one who worked with an anti-whaling organization. Though she feared water, Titus decided there was no greater cause than to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. After a few months at sea, keeping the whales safe from the scourges of the ocean, she found her own ship attacked and wrecked, with 25 other crewmates adrift in a life raft. Her impressive resolve kept her crew alive, and most importantly, never once did they get wet nor soggy. Her resting hero face kept the waves frightened and at bay. The moment she touched dry land, Titus mailed you her logbook, her precious journal of every day and night on the perilous voyage. You were touched beyond words to receive it, and to see on every page a heartfelt line or two about your continued place in her heart. Tyrell has since sold his business to his employees, but he can't stop himself from coming into work, if only to check in on his towel buddies. He started folding them in your image to show his affection for you. He just can't quite get the nose right. Von Trapp's business booms, then fades as he completely exterminates all the vermin in the city limits. He drives his panel truck around hoping to bring up business, but for some reason it doesn't seem to work. He comes over occasionally to make sure there's no vermin incursion happening in your crawl space. But the last time he showed up, you surprised him with the world's biggest cheese plate. He'd deny it, but he teared up, and the two of you had a romantic, slightly smelly picnic. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, 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 wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, 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 wall. Willie is so successful as a consultant that she expands her business, hiring several of your former co-workers to continue the extensive cleanup required after the industry-wide haste to adopt AI. There's a deep satisfaction in knowing that Willie is now turning the tables on both of your behalf. Maybe there is some justice in this world after all. Willie invites you on the vacation of a lifetime. All expenses paid, care of Valdivian. There's something healing about being on a romantic getaway and knowing the massive bill will be sent to the soulless corporation that fired both of you. Winifred is in the process of expanding the Hot and Heady franchise to a second location. She is looking for partners to invest, hopefully a throuple. Though the two of you have some very steamy nights together, you always welcome the chance for another to join in on the action. Gwendolyn found that she was so good at discovering gossip that was true, she caught the attention of an intelligence service that shall not be named. She kept her TV show, but she also uncovered covert secrets. She's in talks for the rights to the movie dramatization of her life, though she's holding out for a better price for her bird friends. Zoe continues to love her life and her job as a paranormal facilitator. She's had a couple of close calls, but the majority of her ghostly clients are nervous, if ultimately grateful. Zoe is always happy to see you. Your house is, after all, the best place for miles to hold a successful séance. You do sometimes wish your house wasn't quite so haunted, but seeing Zoe makes it worth the bumps in the night. Skylar gets to work immediately on creating a new version of the Dateables, one that everyone can use. The world seems to be full of these days of happy, realized people doing wild, magical things. Skylar visits you often for inspiration. She stares into your eyes deeply, gratified, saying that yours were the ones that made all of this possible. Your eyes. Kind, friendly, loving, but ultimately the ones who listened the most, who trusted the most, who felt the most, and who defeated David the most. Your eyes. Those beautiful eyes. The eyes of a true hero. Through your power, we can see that there was love always around us.